Welcome back to Drip Music X. I'm one of their hosts, Frame. We got Fresh Bueller over there, and the real stash stays. And tonight we got a special guest, the guy in the crazy mask face, Jeffery Nothing.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Great to have you.
It's good to be here. Thanks.
Nothing. Uh-oh.
How you guys?
My bad. Feedback.
You're so professional.
Man, we're starting off great right here. Listen. Things happen, okay? And sometimes you just got to deal with it, all right? It's just life. Like $4 gas prices all of a sudden after 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That happens.
It was 420.
420 down in Florida?
420?
Yep.
I think you know what that calls for.
Yeah. So, Jeffrey Nothing, how are you doing today? Can you breathe in that thing? There's a lot of
I actually have air holes for my nose. Mouth works pretty well, but I'm doing pretty well. It's a bit of a road to get back into the music population, but it's happening. I'm pretty excited about that.
Really expand on that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I guess on a song by a band called Die Humane. It's called The Deep. It's been a little bit on video and audio, and we did that around late 23 and took a minute to come out. But I continued to work with the bassist. He would write music, and I visited for 33 days over 2 different visits. And we came up with 10 tracks, and we just continued to make songs. He'll write something and send it to me, and I'll write the lyrics and start tracking.
I got you. The way you kind of said it, I thought you were saying like you was not happy with a lot of the music artists right now in the industry or something like that. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of. I mean, I listen to Octane and Liquid Metal a little bit. I just kind of go away from music a little bit when I'm not doing my own, somewhat. But
I got you.
I do listen to radio as I'm driving places.
No Taylor Swift? Come on, man. What's wrong?
No, not too much. I just went and saw Hannah B the other night with my buddy. That was pretty intense, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening on the radio. I can't really spit out a bunch of names at the time, but I've heard a couple things I liked a lot. It's just it goes by fast, and if you don't catch more than one line on the chorus, it's like, what else does it say in the song? I'm like, how the hell do I know? I just heard that one line. You can't really find it from that, but it was like a duet. Kind of seemed like it was about vampires.
Vampires are cool.
It depends. Depends on the vampire, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You ever met a vegan
Twilight
vampire?
ones are good.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
The Twilight ones, the vegan vampires, exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're how many tracks do you have done? How many are you looking to make for this? Are you gonna put an album together?
Yeah, I'm doing an EP first. It'll be out sometime this summer. I'm thinking that'll be 4 to 5 songs, and the record will be at least 10. I've got a couple covers ready, and I already have one video shot for one of the songs from probably the album.
Cool.
I just like making music. It's kind of feeling the most alive for the most part.
Are you gonna plan to have that EP out prior to? You have some tour dates coming up in the summer too, so I'm guessing you're gonna want to get that out prior to the shows.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being about middle of the first 2 bigger ones I'm doing. I'm hoping it lands around there at least, if not sooner. But they always want a 3-month window for promo, it seems. So I'm not really positive. Just definitely this year, which makes it sound way later than that. I'm hoping that's not the case. I want at least singles out.
So let's talk about your outfit a little bit more, the masks and all that. What inspired you to do these type of these looks? Was there some some movie in the early 80s, something like that? What was your inspiration behind it?
I started out the double, and that was just a cool mask, especially pair with a wedding dress, something dark and something considered pure, and that just kind of evolved. And then we just started to have people coming around that offered to make us masks, and of course, it started really primitively with the yarn sewn on latex or a spandex mask, and then we would all have a different look, and that kind of went away for a little bit during the whole here's Slipknot, let's do something completely different. So we went kind of all the same for a while, and then it was really fun working with House, and we could make things we had in our minds come to life, so to speak. And then for the hands mask around the time of beautiful stories, or really into Righteousness and the Butterfly. That mask, I remember the movie Nightbreed and how the guy had the thumb blades and he could pretty much cut his face off. And I thought, well, what if I was like a serial killer and I needed at least some kind of a face? And I thought to put the hands and fingers of my victims as my eyes and teeth, basically. So that's how that started. And then I had this other idea all along of doing something called All of Us, which was like 6 different face panels. And I've been wearing that mask in a lot of photos and stuff lately. But this is kind of like the Evil Dead happened to the 6-panel mask, and it kind of just took off a little further and morphed into this. And then I also have what I call the Doom Hands mask, which is a kind of a transition of the hands mask, and sometime this summer I'll debut the actually 3rd version of the hand mask.
And then this is a new one, new mask you have on. And can you get real close so we can see it really good, real quick? Or
it's like a full head. It's got a lot going on, and
wow, the detail's incredible.
Yeah, it's I like just front of face for singing live, but I like this kind of thing for doing videos or photos. It's got really cool skulls and stuff going on top, and it's all different faces.
Wicked. So you've been in the music industry for over 30 years. How do you stay creative and not get distracted by the business? Because I mean, you're doing the costumes and everything, but you're playing the music. Like, there's so much where when you've been in it so long, how do you keep going?
This is actually since my first band that was any kind of serious. This is 45 years, but it's just like my favorite part of being here, other than relationships and that type of thing. But I just feel the most alive when I'm creating music or art in general. And I don't know, it's just songs just flow into my head. And I've been lucky enough to work with some really great co-writers, and just getting those new canvases to paint. It's like a blessing I hope never ends. I hope I always have cool people to work with, and something to create and put out there and share.
Nice. Now, you've been on a lot of tours. Was there one special place that you like to tour at? Like one location that's like your favorite place to go and do a live show out of all of them?
There's kind of a lot of different ones. The Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan's a really good one. It's like a home away from home type of vibe, and just really good people, and the crowds have always been really nuts. And I remember back in the day, a long time ago, I was like, I wonder if I'll ever get to New York. I wonder if I'll ever get to LA. And then I got to where we were there regularly, and it was pretty cool. And then playing in Ozfest in Europe in 2002, it was like Castle Donington. I always heard that name and never thought I'd be there on stage, and that was pretty amazing. And just I remember playing in Ireland, and we're watching System of a Down on the stage, and I turn this way and look over the hill, and there's like 80 sheep, and it was like the sky went on forever. It was just really crazy things I things you dream about as an up and coming band when you're young, and then to be able to do a lot of stuff is incredible. There's a lot of favorite places, really.
Did you say sheep or groupies? No, I'm sorry.
You toured Australia, did you not?
Yeah, what's crazy is my very first trip to Australia was with the first version of my solo band, and Mushroom hadn't been there yet, and it was just wild, like watching the crowd dance to like psychedelia. That was crazy. And
what band was that? Was that with Hatrix or was that Purgatory?
No, it was Jeffery Nothing. It was like the version I had in 2011 when I was still in Mushroom Head.
Okay.
That was Farrell and Skinny and I, and then I'm on version 3 of Jeffery Nothing now.
Very nice.
Well, how does the logistics work to go all the way to Australia?
You fly to, like, I think we flew out of Cali first, and that's about 6, and then it's like 13 hours down there, and you basically, I was like running in place in my seat so my legs wouldn't fall asleep, because you can get blood clots from a flight of that length if you don't move around, and I'm stuck behind 3 sleeping people, and just to kind of like move my feet at least, and kept moving a little bit every once in a while, and then you don't really get on a bus. You fly in, go to the club, sound check, do the show, go to the hotel, wake up, fly to the next venue. And,
do you take all your gear with you, and you have the stage stuff? Is that all part of it?
With the Jeffery Nothing part, it was we just play from a back line that they provided, and the merch is done over there, and you just get yourself there and your guitars and heads maybe, and like snare if you want to get into all that, and cymbals maybe. But the Jeffery Nothing part we run Mushroom Head part we run a gear, and then some of the gear didn't make the trip, and even one member didn't make the trip because it's a pretty long flight, but it's really awesome to get over there. My aunt, uncle, and cousins lived there when I was young, and I always wondered how it would be.
Did you see kangaroos while you were there?
I was just going to ask that.
I actually saw a couple. I didn't see a lot. And then it was cool to go to Bon Scott's grave and his monument, and just walking in the Indian Ocean. That was different. I'm trying to make a list of all the oceans I've actually walked in, but some of them are probably a little bit too cold, but that's okay. I'll do it in spirit. I'll stand next to it.
There you go. There you go. So when you first started music, was it had to have been a very, very young age? Did you start off learning one specific instrument, or did you have a parent teach you? What was the beginning of Jeffery Nothing, the very, very beginning?
The very beginning, I remember I sang every song I could hear, and I had like a little collection of 45s, and I to completely date myself, I would go in the basement mirror with a hairbrush for a microphone and sing the Jacksons and the Osmonds and anything else I could get my hands on. And when I was about 14, I sang and attempted to play bass in a Kiss cover band with Mike Miller and Mike Garrett. And I did not play bass, and it was not good, but the bug was in there about singing. And then about 7th grade, I probably mixing up my calendar a little bit, but around 7th grade, I think it was, I was in guitar in school, and my best friend got really serious, and I was just like playing way too hard on acoustic guitar, almost like breaking strings. But I took a lot of lessons. I walked a lot of miles carrying a lot of way too big bass cases with a little tiny guitar, and then everybody I ever took lessons from was like, "What song do you want to learn?" And it's like, "Yeah, I can play cocaine on a bass grade. I don't know the instrument for nothing." And I have fun on drums. I even asked people if I wanted to be in their band as far as drumming, but I'm not a drummer. But I like singing. It's worked out good.
So you were always a musician. There was no point where you was like wanting to be a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist or something?
No, there was a weird stretch in there where I fell in love with baseball, and I never really so much thought of being on a team because my mother was like, "No, your brother played. I'm not doing that again." But I just got this idea of I want to manage these kids and make this amazing little league team, and it just never happened. But somewhere along, like around 12, I really switched to music.
Nice. It's been a long journey since then.
Yeah, it's 90, maybe 85% really awesome, but it's like any other part of life. There's ups and downs and amazing things and heartbreaking things, but it's a great trip, journey, whatever word you want to put in there.
What would you say is the two-part question? What's been the most heartbreaking part of the journey? Then what's been the most happiest part of the journey?
Just playing places I never imagined is really awesome, and the fans have been unbelievable. And probably the answer to both questions is my wife Stacy, who is no longer with us, because I met her through the band, and then all that was hard, the band part, post band, all of it, but that's the best and the hardest.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, for anybody.
Have you done any songs in her memory or any music that maybe you haven't released in her memory or anything like that?
Songs in her memory?
Yeah, or something like that, something inspired by her. Because for me, I make music out of a lot of my pain, a lot of my anxiety and emotions and stuff. Especially when something happens, I want to rap about it in a song. You know, when something happens.
Yeah, I had a piece of music that Tommy Church had sent me way before that, and I ended up writing lyrics to it and saying that, or not saying that, I had recorded it ahead of time, and I played it at the service. And then I wrote one that was just one of the early times I went out there to Houston to work on the new stuff for, and then I didn't want to be on at her grave at the anniversary of her passing, so I went back to Houston and I wrote a song for her that day, the day of her passing, and I got the first sentence and bawled my eyes out and wrote the rest, and then I tracked it 8 times and cried through 3 of those, so I got pretty good takes. And I ended up later on at home writing an ending for it, and I just wasn't in that same place, so I went back to the hospital room on the day she passed to put myself back in that place to finish most of the song. But then at the end, I tried to bring some joy into it instead of just kind of coming across the press.
Right, and you said that's something you released or is being released?
That's probably going to mostly be parts of the...
Oh, did you freeze up?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we lost him, it seems.
He froze for a second. Well,
Yeah,
he
let's
froze.
see.
For shame we lost him. Yo, King Von, who's the drummer of the band? I don't know exactly what you mean by that question.
Now
There
now
you
he's
are.
back.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay.
Yeah, that was a part of the service. I sang it during it, and every once in a while that's shared online again. But I haven't really put it on YouTube or anything. That one's called Sunshine, but
Maybe
the other ones are
sometime.
just in the works still.
I got you.
Maybe at some point in time it'll be released, or you wouldn't want to
Yeah,
release it at all.
like the 2 I've written since the funeral. Those will both be on my album, which will come out next year sometime, I'd imagine. I'm still working on a guest for the one I did on the day of her passing and the anniversary.
So you do use music to, like I was saying, the same way I do, actually get out your pain, frustrations, and things like that. Is there any songs you've done? Because I know you're in the heavy metal genre more so, or even darker or heavier than that. But is there any upbeat type of songs that you've done outside of that genre, or just any type of songs? You ever like done a country music song or anything like that?
No, I dabble in more industrial with my band called Doom Candy, and I had other bands like Hatrix and Purgatory, and we did like mellow stuff in that. But there's songs across Mushroom Head that are kind of more of a ballad type of thing. But everything I'm writing anymore is more into the positive world. I don't really try to get quite as dark as far as the subject or anything, or what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be a little more light.
Is there a reason for that?
Um, my wife and her grandmother and friends of mine and my brother, like everybody wanted me to find faith, and I struggled with it a long time. I was agnostic, but even when I was agnostic, a couple prayers I had made were, in my opinion, answered, and I just like being there with Stacy at church for what she was going through. I think the more prayers that were happening, the more positive thinking, all of it just made her feel better, if nothing else. And it was a not easy journey, and it felt good to feel like somebody else was on my side.
Amen.
That's wonderful.
Thanks.
Now, did you do any touring during the 2020 time when everything was shut down, or some stuff was shut down, some stuff wasn't, or was you out of the music game during then?
We toured before COVID. We didn't really do anything after my band. My main co-writer at the time moved to North Carolina to be with his family and stuff, and so songs were like fewer and far between. Like I have a pretty good amount of stuff that hasn't been released yet that I'm just waiting to see what I want to do with it. And then there's about 15 songs besides that right now, and it just became to where touring wasn't a possibility, and part of that was being home for what was going on. But I just it was just a lot, spending a lot to only do like 4 or 5 shows in the pre-COVID days, and you really just got to have really product together and a band set and just a lot of songs to really decide to make another big push on what you're doing.
Yeah, speaking of it's the algorithms and everything on social media and the Spotify playlist and all that. How much has the industry changed since all that's been enacted? Because you were in the industry before all that stuff, and now we even got AI and AR music artists on Spotify and all that. So you've seen a lot of different changes to the music industry.
I'm not a fan of it. I use AI some in promotion, and I'll never use it in my music. And I think it's fine if people let it be known right off the bat that that's what they're doing. I don't think they'll replace a real soulful, like putting everything they have into their songs type of thing.
Right.
I know a friend of mine has a buddy that's made like 3 or 4 records in different AI styles, and I don't know. I'm just hoping something going on there is an original, actual, real person, just really singing their heart out or playing their heart or doing something that really matters. I would hate for it to ever become completely AI. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's been a big topic we've been talking about a lot. Like, there's already like full-on AI music artists, like not a real person at all. It's a real person prompting it or whatever, but as a singer and everything, that's all AI, and they're actually taking up a lot of Spotify and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I believe it was Bandcamp who's made a big stance on it, and they're trying to cut it out. I know record labels are watching it real close with artists when they're trying to sign new artists and whatnot. But at the same time, those record labels are signing artists who train their AIs with their vocals. So it's really, really muddy right now.
yeah. It's hard to predict what'll ever happen. Just the whole computer thing and what used to be the record industry of actual releasing stuff and kids forming a big line. They'd be there to get it first and reading the lyrics and getting all excited. And it's like I don't know if it's the ADHD or ADD effect or whatever's going on, but the attention span of the consumers probably played a big part in all the change. And if you're an up and coming band, just the whole computer revolution's did amazing things for you. And if you're a band that was trying to survive in the old ways, that's not quite as easy.
Right. And that's what you were saying. You got to have a lot of music and promo and everything ready to make a big push nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot to get those algorithms going. And if you stop for a while, then you got to do the whole big push
Start
again. Mm-hmm.
100%.
Because them algorithms, I feel like FYE didn't last that long. It should have lasted a little bit longer. You know,
yeah,
CD store.
It all seems to run its course. If you could just get it shipped in, why have a brick and mortar building or something? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I remember when Best Buy was all music, and then it became everything but that.
Yeah. There's like 2 little aisles now for music in Best Buy.
Yeah, if that.
It's crazy how times change. But I do think with all this, the AI and these uncertain times we're in is going to make a lot. It's going to bring a new, I think, flame back to music artists. We're going to see some music artists who's been through a lot of stuff start really trying to spread their wings more.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It would be awful for it to go the other way. Hopefully, it won't. I mean, I love seeing bands and actually feeling that connection, and that we reading all this robot stuff. I hope they don't marry the two, AI and robots.
Well, you know, it's already happened in a lot of ways, and really, it wouldn't be that far off. I mean, like if you look back at like Chuck E. Cheese, you had robotic mouses, you know, singing and dancing and all that stuff. So now with all the technology, I mean, it's not too far away. It's really not. We're going to see some type of dancing robots. China's got already a fighting, like a UFC for robots, a full-on league.
Real Steel is a real thing now.
Yeah.
Robot fighting movie.
Full-on league, just like the UFC. I think they're doing even bigger ones that almost are like what you're talking, like that movie and like Gundam Wing and all this other stuff where they've got missiles and machine guns on them, but they're not pulling those quite out yet. They're going to make them battle and stuff, but I've seen the models. I've seen the models and I've seen what they're trying to do, but I'm sure there's some type of safety regulations you have to.
Yeah, we need something besides battle bots. I can't do it.
Oh yeah, see, BattleBots.
I remember that one. I was thinking about that one.
Yeah. See, that was a thing. That's what I'm saying. We're really not that far. We've been right there at the precipice for a while. It's really crazy.
All those kids in science class in high school building these things for the last 10 years are now going to be building all these robots.
That's a great point. I saw something recently, and then we'll get back. This is way off topic, but it just fits in with what Stash said. I saw a article about these scientists who discovered this one fish somewhere. It's a brand new species of fish, but it like had a lit up yellow gold tail on the back of it. So they named it Super Saiyan or something like that from Dragon Ball Z because they would watch Dragon Ball Z as kids. So yeah, new generation of scientists, they are doing some interesting things. That's true. Think about that, Stash.
Hey Jeff, Mushroom Head from the beginning throughout has constantly had lineup changes, new people coming in and out. Is what era, what album would you say was the golden era in your opinion?
There's two schools of thought: the pre and post J-Man eras. The pre would have to be Super Buick. And then the other one's teetering between 13 and Save Your Sorrow. My favorite record probably of all of it is probably 13. I felt like that was my baby in a lot of ways, and just a lot of really great songs. And I love Buick too, but
I have that on vinyl. I didn't know about Mushroom Head at that point in time. I left Cleveland in '89 to go to Columbus and got into techno and the Grateful Dead. Metal wasn't on my radar, and then I moved to Florida and caught you guys in Fort Lauderdale for it was either 13 or the XX 20 tour.
Yeah.
It was probably with you were there with Dope or Head PE.
I'm thinking Dope.
And I think it was probably the first time J-Man was there. And I thought the two of you guys together were great. When he left and Waylon came in, I thought he did a great job as well. And then after, I think it was the album Beautiful
Stories for Ugly Children.
Ugly Children, yeah. I think at that point it kind of lost me from what had been going on. That album seemed to be a disappointment for me compared to all the other things that had come prior to that.
What was it that disappointed you about it? Was there like a lot of hype or way more hype than
I couldn't connect with any of the songs, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't click for me. I stick to Super Buick. I stick to 13 and XX and Save Your Sorrow. Kind of stick to those four.
I like Burn the Bridge a lot. That's probably my favorite song off that one, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an awesome song.
On that record.
Now, do you agree with Stash on that one was not maybe your best work, or was there something going on with the band at that time, or is Stash just being picky right now?
Yeah, I think the other ones I paid more attention to. I think I was waiting to let other things happen and then come in more around that time. So I don't know if that was a big effect on it or not, but after a while, the changes start to make their mark a little more in the band, even if they aren't fully seen outside of it. So
for sure,
I'm not really sure.
Right. And you had filed a lawsuit against Steve for royalties and songwriting credits, and I know you commented on it. You settled it recently, and without rehashing all this stuff, what lessons did you learn about band business, friendship, and protecting your creative contributions?
Friendships go a long way. If you mix them with business, they can cause those to end or have a really long break. And my number one advice is always get in writing, because I hurt myself more than once that way. And I'd rather keep the friends, but watch my back a little bit too, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta always get everything in writing. That's for sure. Because like things change too. It's not like every friend is gonna turn evil or stab you in the back, but like you can grow apart, and then what you guys originally had agreed on may not fit the other person anymore for some. You never know what the reason is. So if you have it in writing, then, it doesn't matter how anybody feels 20 years later, 10 years later, it's solid concrete, and that's how it is. You really can, avoid a lot of headaches, but also probably keep a few more friendships intact by already having that paperwork down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lesson learned, and I'm just happy to be past the drama of it and moving on.
To keep with your positivity that you had mentioned in your songwriting.
Yeah.
So it's great to get behind you and move forward. That's good.
Definitely.
Glad that happened for you.
Thank you.
Is there any chance of getting back on a tour in Mushroom Head, do you think, or not in the near future that you see?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking day by day, and I'm not going to say never about something like that. But I'm
You got your own
mostly
thing going on
concentrating
now.
Jeffery Nothing and seeing where it goes. And not really sure, but I'm not.
Is there a difference when you were writing songs for Mushroom Head versus writing songs now for your own band?
It's more of my personal vision, I would say, with my own band, and it kind of was more of that in the earlier days of Mushroom Head, but it started to subside after a while. And I don't know. It's like I'm in just a really good place with my co-musicians in this project, and it feels like it could be some of the best stuff I've ever released. Really,
I listened to the one Jeffrey Nothing album that was on Apple Music with the crazy bald guy on the cover.
yeah,
And that album is fucking killer. I listened
yeah.
to the
This
whole
was
thing and I was like,
Skinny
wow, this
and
blew me away.
yeah, this was Skinny and Ryan Farrell, and then there's a second situation of that with the stuff that's on YouTube, and then this third one. But there's definitely evolution in that band too, and hopefully Tommy will want to get out there and play again. But right now he's taking time off, and I wish him well and his family well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Stash, do you got anything else for me? You ready to move into my favorite segment of the show?
Why don't you move into your favorite segment and then maybe we can come back.
Don't you shake your head no. We got fans in the comments who are amazed by our lineup right here, and we can't let them down. We have to continue. You play that segment.
So we have a segment called Fast Fire Questions. I'm just going to ask you a series of questions. Give me like a 1-2 sentence answer. The first thing that pops to your head.
Okay.
So if you had to describe your sound as a weapon or a tool, which weapon or tool would it be and why?
A blowtorch, I guess, because I feel words can do a lot of good or bad, so they can kind of be like a flamethrower in their own right.
Cool. Do you have a go-to ritual or habit that helps you get into the zone?
I like this stuff that grows on the earth here for us, and
This
you
stuff?
can eat it, or yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. Okay, you already answered number 3 because somebody asked you before if you'd written a song but you haven't released it yet. So what's a lesson you've learned about the industry that you wish you knew earlier in your career?
The same thing with the contracts mostly, but just really read the fine print, I guess.
What's one genre or musical style that you'd like to experiment with in the future?
Best way to answer that is anything but country.
I like all music but country.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song that you've ever written, and what does it mean to you?
Unreleased, it's Amnesia, the song I wrote on the day my wife passed away, and it's just almost saying that I wanted to forget because it's just hard to remember, and it's like everything blurs, and just trying to just remember her voice and laugh and all that stuff. It's like once I see a recording, it's impossible. So that song really said how I was feeling.
Understandable. If someone made a movie about your band's life or about your life, what would the theme song be?
Probably Journey to the Center of the Mind by Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes.
It's a great song. How does your approach to music reflect the way you live your life outside of music?
I not really the answer to the question, but I really write about the world around me and how it affects me or people I know or just people in general. I try to tell a real story instead of just singing words. Um, I try to be humble and caring. I think
Nice.
communicating things I'm going through or feeling to my fans touches a lot of them. So I guess that's a connection.
Cool. What's the most surreal experience that you've had as a musician?
The most real. I had been writing songs all day, and I was supposed to do a meet and greet for a show we were doing the next day, and I said I can give you half an hour, and the bass player and I went, and I had met my wife that day. She came to that meet and greet, and we just clicked, and I guess that would be the one.
Beautiful. And I guess the last and the cliche question: if you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Mm. I guess going further back, John Lennon, just what the Beatles mean to so much music and the fact that they're kind of pioneers in what they were doing, and just he was involved in so many of their huge songs, and it would just be fun. There's really too many to list. You can make an amazing band 20 times over and still have extra people. So
Cool. Well, that's been
Hey. Well, Jeffrey, is there anything in particular you want to promote tonight on this episode that's coming out or already out, where people can find you at with the most recent stuff, or do you have like anything like a fan club online, a Patreon, or something like that? Anything you want to promote?
yeah, I'm doing a Milwaukee Metal Fest, which is kind of a bucket list moment, and we're doing that on Friday, June 5th. And then I've been to a bunch of Inks incarcerations, and we even played it when it was called Ink and the Clink, and now we're playing that on July 17th. And we're doing a big show in Houston on July 25th at BFE, and we're actually going to shoot that with 6 cameras and have a film crew in there and everything. And just I got a tour coming up. An announcement going to be happening here pretty soon. So
I hope
keep an
there's
eye
a
out.
South Florida date.
Yeah, there's some Florida stuff.
Hopefully South Florida.
Yeah.
I see they come to like Jacksonville, Tampa, and they head out. Maybe Orlando, and they don't come down all the way down to West Palm, Fort Lauderdale area. So I hope you end up coming down all the way down here so I can come up and see you.
You ain't
I know
gonna fly
there's
to
some-
Australia, Stash?
that?
You
Yeah,
want to fly to Australia, Stash? Get
I
blood
do. I
clots?
would love to fly to Australia.
Yeah, we're working on getting another run over there too.
Yeah, any opportunity, if I got a shot, if I could go, I'd go.
I hear you.
I'm scared to go to Australia now because that flight, man. I want to get blood clots, man. I don't like planes as it is.
Australia is just life on hard mode. Everything's bigger and scarier there, right?
Yeah, man.
Other than gravestones, they're probably like 8 inches by 8 inches or something like that.
What was that?
Really? They're gravestones.
Yeah, they're really small. They're smaller than a record album. They're like probably like 8
Like
by
little plaques.
Yeah. So they built a archway at the end of the path out to the fence that has lightning bolts and says Bon Scott and ACDC, and then They did a little bit of other stuff too, but his is just mixed in with all the other small gravestones.
Wow.
I was there last with Odorous Urungus from Guar, and then I went home after that show, and he played New Zealand a little bit, and then went home and passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Photo of Odorous at Bon Scott's grave.
Awesome. Did you go to New Zealand? You say you didn't go.
No, I haven't made it there yet. I was lined up to do some shows there a while back, but they didn't happen. But I'd imagine they would next time we're down that way. I'd like to get there.
I heard they got really good burgers in New Zealand.
Yeah, I don't eat those anymore, but that's awesome.
Oh man,
You don't eat those anymore. You're vegan?
Yeah, I'm on an alkaline diet, plant-based or fruit or vegetables. I drink water. It's part of my staying alive plan.
Oh,
Not
nice.
the Bee Gees, but
And you get help from Foos on this?
yeah, he actually connected me with the people that I got my tinctures and my pills from, and did that for 8 weeks of 3 times a day. And I even lived on just grapes for a week, grape juice, but not the sugary crap you can buy at most places with the cold press stuff. But yeah, Don turned me onto them, and then told me about trying some other stuff too, and I think it saved my life.
Feeling
That's
much
awesome.
better since you've been doing all that?
Yeah, like I had pain right before I started. I haven't really had it ever since.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's good to hear, man. So you and Foos are real close. Any band stories on the road where it was real crazy? Where you
No,
and
we
Foos
didn't
had to
really
beat up
tour
some
together.
bouncers or something?
Foos and I did stuff around Cleveland, but we never really toured together. But I've known him. I have one other friend that's a little longer time friend, but other than that, it's Foos and I has just been a great dude. He's my go-to guy if I do have health issues, and he's a really good friend. I actually am quoted on the back of his Raw Life book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, Foos was a great interview, man. He's seemed like a really nice dude.
Yeah, he's
Awesome. Well,
one of those give you the shirt off his back guys.
for sure. For sure. That's what I seem like. Well,
Yeah.
Jeff, it's been a pleasure to have you, man.
Good to be here.
You guys got anything else for Jeffrey? Nothing tonight?
Nothing
I
else.
think that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, Jeffrey, again, thanks for being here. Before we go, if you've got anything else you want to promote or say, or any lessons you want to give to the youth, you already spoke a lot of gems tonight, so we do appreciate that. It was
Yeah, just
music artist.
yeah, just follow your dream. And a lot of people want to tell people that are trying to do music, no, you want to get a job that actually pays. I make music because it makes me happy, and I love the thought that fans are touched by the songs, and I get a lot of communication of what it's meant to them, and you can't get that doing something else for the most part. And there's no better high than that, in my opinion. Just that time between the artist and the audience, there's nothing better. And
Nothing like a live show.
don't chase anyone that's already out there. Make your own version of what you're trying to do. I always try to listen to everything and have influences, but not lock on any one of them for any real period of time. But just don't give up and keep pushing it, because you never know when you're going to get your break.
There you go. Go follow Jeffrey Nothing everywhere. If you are new to his music, check it out. If it's been a while, go check it out again, because he's going to be releasing new stuff. I appreciate everybody joining us. Tomorrow we'll be back with another interview. I don't know who it is, but we'll be back tomorrow. Peace.